Joe Bandy from Georgia talking with us now. Joe, you are actually from the Beaumont area and have an extraordinary story about this very chaotic voting time in American life. Tell us what happened with you, man.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me on. Well, I'm here in Atlanta. I'm in the northern suburbs up in an area called Milton, Georgia.
Okay.
Which is near Alpharetta. Some people, it's kind of synonymous with Alpharetta. But so, I go to vote on Tuesday morning at my kids' elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up there early, right when they opened, because I didn't know how the crowds were going to be. And so I stand in line, and here they scan your driver's license right before you go to get your ballot. And they told me that, I'm sorry, you can't vote today. You've already voted in early voting. And I was like, no, there's no way I didn't vote,
Maybe you early voted and you forgot.
Yeah, maybe I did that. But yeah, and obviously I'm not going to get up at the crack of dawn to go vote twice. I mean, maybe some people would do that, but that's not what was happening. So it was kind of some confusion there. My stomach dropped, I think I turned white as it goes because I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is crazy. And there was one, actual poll worker there who was kind of in charge of, if there was any snafus or anything. And she was kind of not really sure what was going on. She was busy doing other things as well. And so they said, well, we'll let you cast a provisional ballot, and then we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
And it was, there was not a lot I could do. I'm in a polling center. And so that's what I did. They gave me a paper ballot. Usually everybody there was voting on the computers, but they gave me a paper ballot. They had me sign a few things. I filled out that ballot, and then she held out a red ballot bag and had me stick it in there. And then she told me that, I could contact I'm in Fulton County, which is still counting votes right now, by the way.
Yeah.
So, in a couple days, contact Fulton County and see if my vote was counted.
Georgia, of course, remains a key battleground in the election process. You clearly were disenfranchised, it sounds, unless your provisional vote counts quickly.
Well, best case scenario, it's some kind of mistake on the poll worker.
Mm-hmm.
Because I talked to the Secretary of State's office reached out to me once they saw the post and wanted to hear my story as well. And I talked to the Fulton County voter registration 3 times, and every time I call them, I have to basically regurgitate the whole story because it's not like anybody has record of what's going on. I've talked to them today. This morning they were supposed to call me back within a couple hours, and I haven't heard anything. But like I said, at best, it's ineptitude on the part of a poll worker. Let's say, and here's the thing. So they told me that I voted at the Alpharetta Library on October 15th, early voting. And as I stated I put a Facebook post up about this, but what I was told was that the person requested the ballot, the person received the ballot, and the person sent the ballot back all in the same day, which at the time seemed really odd because, usually if you're sent a ballot, it goes through the mail. There's no way you're going to get all that in the same day.
Right.
But what I was informed by the Secretary of State's office was that when you're early voting, what you're doing actually is you're voting by mail in person. So when you go and you ask for a ballot, it's all going to be logged in as sent a ballot, received a ballot, and processed that ballot all in one day. So they did resolve that issue. Now, what their suggestion was, and what I've made clear to the election officials here, is I want to see the certificate of office, the certificate where the person who requested the ballot, they would have had to sign that ballot. They would have to sign that certification. And so, like I said, if it
doesn't match, it doesn't match.
Right. If some poll worker, like say Joe Baker, I'm Joe Bandy, say Joe Baker goes in and requests to early vote and they accidentally clicked on his name instead of my name, that's like the best case scenario. And even if that happened, then there's there should be backstops in place to keep something like that from happening. Either the poll worker realizes that's not, I clicked on the wrong thing. The actual person who's voting should notice, hey, I'm not Joe Bandy, I'm Joe Baker.
Right.
And from that standpoint, realize, okay, I've got the wrong ballot. Worst case scenario is they get that actual certification back and somebody's forged my name, which means at that point that's probably some kind of targeted fraud.
Right.
And if it happened to me, how many other people has this happened to, and is it skewing one way or another? So at this point, like you mentioned earlier, we're in a very tight race here in Georgia, and so I want to be sure that my ballot was counted, the correct ballot was counted, and so that's what we're waiting to find out at this point. And there's just not a lot there's just not a lot of information coming out.
Right. Joe Bandy in Fulton County, Georgia. We wish you the best of luck. Appreciate your time, buddy. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Take care, guys.